Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Atlanta Falcons today. Let's jump into a mailbag video. Yes, it has been a very long time since I've gotten to answer your mailbag questions. I've compiled some good ones here as featured by our subscribers. You're going to be part of next week's mailbag video. Of course, got to be a subscriber, so hit the red button down below and use the hashtag Falcons in the comments section. We got a lot of good ones here. Let's just jump right into Doc Funk, who says, T-Mott, all caps, future topics. Is it possible, with the mobility and familiarity with Smith's playbook, that Mariota will not be a downgrade from last year's quarterback spot? It is possible, although I don't want to really compare Mariota to the previous quarterback, obviously in Matt Ryan. I want to compare him to the actual quarterback he has to be compared to right now, and that is Desmond Ridder. I'm going to be honest here. Mariota could start the entire year. There is a scenario which I think is not necessarily super likely, not an 80 or 90% chance that Mariota plays the entire year or starts the entire year. I think there's at least a 40% chance, though, that he plays well enough with the mobility, with the familiarity in the system, with the, I think, knowledge he's gained from going back to being a backup quarterback with the Las Vegas Raiders, and where he can take over this offense and play some good football. Now, I think that this team is not going to win football games or as many football games as they need to, not due to the fact that Mariota is going to play poorly, but due to the fact that they have a lackluster offensive line. The running game seems to be a little bit mediocre. They have one good wide receiver on the outside, and the defense is still going to be kind of middle of the pack, right? It's kind of what we all expect in terms of this roster as it currently stands. And so Mariota might play great, and they don't win football games, he's out of there. But what happens if Mariota plays great and they win football games? And not saying they're going to win 12, 13, 14 games, but what if they're sitting there towards the end of the season, one game out of a playoff spot, week 13. One game out of a playoff spot, week 15. They're getting close to 8 wins. They're getting close to 9 wins. You're not going to yank Marcus Mariota and put in Desmond Ridder if this team can actually win. Because even though it is in a rebuilding process, and the Falcons are still a couple years away from being legitimately competitive, not only in their division, but in the actual NFC, you're not going to tank just for the fact that you want to play Desmond Ridder. Ridder can still learn and grow as a backup. He does not need to play half the games of the 2022 season for development's sake. I mean, there's an argument that's saying that that's even a little too ambitious because he needs a full year to sit and learn and just kind of soak up what it takes to be an actual quarterback. So I think there are two ways to look at this. One, Ridder is going to be the starting quarterback at some point in the future, but two, Marcus Mariota could very easily play well enough to keep this job and keep it for at least the entire year. Now, it would take a playoff win, I think, for Mariota to keep the job into 2023. I think anything short of that, and he's going to be, obviously, let go, and they'll insert Desmond Ridder, but I do think there is a chance to where Ridder sits a lot longer than some people are hoping for, and honestly, I'm fine with that because that means they're winning football games. And when you rather than win football games than be terrible and watch Desmond Ridder come out there and get hit a bunch and really get overwhelmed in his rookie year. A rookie year can make or break a quarterback. Look at Sam Darnold. Darnold was a good quarterback coming out of college, and I think would have been successful had he been in a good system. Goes to the Jets, year one with the Jets, he gets obliterated, and the confidence dies, and you never really get it back. So I think it's a win-win either way. I think either way you're going to see some good quarterback play here, but don't be surprised if Mariota looks really comfortable, looks really poised, and has a very, very good start to the season in 2022. Okay, add break pin comment down below. How many games will Mariota start in 2022? Will he get to 5? Will he get to 10, 15, 18? Let me know how many games you think he's going to start in 2022 down below right now. All right, next question comes from the RC Plane Builder. What are your predicted stats for the 2022 rookies? I might do a full video on this. I don't have time to go through every single rookie and get into their stats. Let me just do Drake London, right? I think London is the one that we really care about in terms of stats. Here's my prediction. And this is just thinking about what rookie wide receivers do, how the rookie wide receiver, or I should say, the wide receiver depth chart for the Falcons in general is currently looking. I think he's going to be your number one target on the outside besides Kyle Pitts. Right about 50 catches, I say 55 in this stat prediction, about 720 yards. It's very rare for a rookie wide receiver to get 1,000-yard receiving. Like, you got to be Jamar Chase, you got to be Odell Beckham Jr. Even the greats have a hard time getting a lot of yards in their rookie season. Devontae Smith with the Eagles last year was a good example of that. Didn't get to 1,000, got to like 900, I think, but he was targeted a lot. I think 700 to 800 yards is kind of where the Falcons will go with Drake London. About 5 touchdowns is, again, kind of likely. Again, super rare for a rookie wide receiver to catch 10 touchdowns his rookie year, double-digit number. So 5, about 13.0 yards per catch is kind of where I would go with Drake London's stat prediction. I think this would be an extremely successful year. I think if he was at 45 catches and 500 yards and 3 touchdowns, we'd still say it was a successful year, but we need to just realize, much like with Kyle Pitts, who took a little bit to get going there. I mean, those first couple of games, it was like, you gotta throw him the football. Once he got rolling, he really started to settle in and grow up in front of our eyes as the years, or as the, I should say, games went on. Think about the game in London where he played very, very well. I see a very similar year to Pitts in year one as to what London is going to be able to do. I expect some good things. I expect him to make some serious catches and have some really good games, but I'm not going to sit here and take him, as my top fantasy receiver or predict he's going to have 1,000 yards, because the odds of that happening as a rookie, to me, are very, very slim. Over under 5 touchdowns for Drake London in 2022. What do you think? Over under. Type O down below for over, or type U down below for under. Okay, while we're at it, we had the NBA draft, which we, of course, were live on our main Chat Sports channel, which we talked about going into this week. Yesterday, I think 23,000 people reoccurring were watching that stream at one point. Crazy numbers there, as all of our guys at the main channel in Dallas were having a bunch of fun, by the way, and they were doing a ton of great work for the draft. NBA free agency starts next week. Kyrie Irving stuff is going to be crazy. Subscribe down below to our main Chat Sports channel in order to go ahead and stay up to date for all the latest NBA stuff. We don't cover the Hawks here on Atlanta Falcons today, even though a lot of Falcon fans are Hawk fans, but the Hawks are going to be interesting to see what they do. There were John Collins trade rumors. Everybody at our main channel is going to be covering that sort of thing, so subscribe over there today. Okay, Wildchild YT says, #Falcons, I am a sub and I've asked this question 4 times now. All right, well, sorry, I can only get to so many anyway. Do you think there's a possibility of signing Tarik Cohen because he tore his ACL, so his contract will be cheap, so we can sign him to a 2 or 3 year contract? That he will not say no because he doesn't think he will get a contract. Thoughts? Sure, yes, technically you can sign Tarik Cohen, but I don't see Tarik Cohen as being any sort of massive factor on this roster right now. I think the current Falcons wide receiver, running back depth chart is as good as you could possibly expect it to be. It's not great, but, I mean, Tyler Algier is going to be looking good, I think, in year one. Obviously, the emergence of Damian Williams, and you already have Cordell Patterson. I just don't think Cohen, coming off of the ACL, like you mentioned, is going to be worth it. And I'll be honest, the free agent market now for running backs is totally beat. I mean, it's very bleak. It's full of injured guys or washed-up guys. These are the best 4 I could find out there, alongside Cohen. Corey Clement, former Eagle, played some with the Dallas Cowboys. He's just not a feature back at all, right? None of these guys are. Latavius Murray, no longer a feature back. Carlos Hyde, at one point, was decent. No more. The legs are basically shot. So, no, I'm out on studying Tarik Cohen. I think this is the running back group you're going to get. I think if they want to upgrade this, it'll take place next season. Let's do this one. Timori Ham says, we should bring back Julio Jones back to mentor these young wide receivers. Good luck. No, there's no way. One, Julio Jones is too washed. Like, it'd be a waste of a contract, waste of money. I mean, the guy is done. I mean, we respect what he was able to do, peak of his powers, best receiver in the league during his time, but right now he's washed, and he doesn't want to come back. You remember this Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless interview where he said he's out, he wants to go win? He's not going to come back just to be a daddy to these wide receivers and mentor them like a good little wide receiver coach. He probably wants to play for a winner and thinks that he personally can. I don't think he can, though, so I'm out on signing Julio Jones. Now, if they were to sign anybody, go get a running back or another wide receiver, I think they're going to sign some offensive linemen at some point this offseason, and they'll cut some of their receivers, as we talked about. We'll cover it here on the channel, so subscribe to stay up to date here, as I've had a lot of people comment that they love this channel. They just found this channel. If you are brand new, welcome. We try to get you guys the latest Falcons news and rumors. It is the offseason. It is, June, late June, and so really you have a month until training camp, so not a lot of news. We try to have fun here on the channel and give you guys some fun Falcons stuff to watch almost every single day, so subscribe. Let's do one more. Rambler123. Better year, Drake London or Arnold Ebiketie? Oh, man. This is tough. Ebiketie doesn't get talked about a lot. Like, when you talk to Falcon fans, and I live in Atlanta, not a lot of people talk about Ebiketie. They talk about Algier, they talk about Drake London, they talk about Kyle Pitts, Desmond Ridder, but Ebiketie might be the best draft pick that they had this year alongside Drake London. I think he has an instant impact on the defensive line. Now, is he going to get 10, 12, 13 sacks? Is he going to have a Micah Parsons type first season like Micah did in Dallas? No, and that's not necessarily Ebiketie's fault. It's because, of course, the defensive line, as you currently see on your screen, isn't that elite, and so he's not going to have a lot of free rushes or open rushing abilities against bad offensive linemen, but I think he is going to be very impressive and have a good year. I think the number you look at for Ebiketie, 6 sacks, 7 sacks, if anything over 6, is a really, really good year for a rookie pass rusher, especially in round 2. But I think he's definitely underrated, a little bit overlooked right now. I think he's going to have a very, very successful year. London, I think you'd say London will have the better year. He'll be more featured in terms of highlights in the Falcons offense, and he plays receiver versus pass rusher. I mentioned earlier, though, he's not going to have 1,000 yards. We need to just be real about that. It will not be a 1,000-yard receiver. He'll be, 600, 700, 3 to 5 touchdown receptions. What I want to see is growth and proof that he's going to be elite going forward throughout his career. All right, London, this. Who's a better year, London or Ebiketie? Type L down below for London or type E down below for Ebiketie. These were some good questions. I want to keep doing mailbag videos every single weekend here on the channel, so give me some questions that I can pull from. If you guys want to ask right now down below. Hashtag Falcons in the comments section to be a part of our next mailbag. All you got to do, again, is be subscribed, and like I said, just type hashtag Falcons and then your question, and that's how I can find the questions in the comments section. A little tip there is what we do here at the channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Again, plenty of content coming up on Monday. We'll get in the latest news and rumors as we always do. For Atlanta Falcons today, Thomas Mott, have a great weekend. Signing off for the rest of your day.